we are in the QBO gym, and this is where we have numerous hands-on exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Each month covers a variety of new topics and scenarios, and to make it a little bit easier for you, we break it down into 4 different sections. So if you are looking to work on your bookkeeping skills, this is the place for you. And if you want to do an entire month's worth of these all on your own, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. But we're going to go ahead and get started with today's exercise, which is coming from our September Year 1 warm-ups section. At the top here is an animated video to give you an understanding of what you, the bookkeeper, will be doing for your client, Craig, this month. Below that is an interactive pre-assessment quiz that relates to the video up above. Below that are all of the exercises in this section. And at the bottom here is an optional area where after you have gone through all of the exercises and completed them in this section, you will unlock some sample marketing posts that you can use on your LinkedIn to share with everyone what you have learned so far. So let's get into today's exercise where we are going to practice recording expenses. Go ahead and click on that link to have the exercise come up for you. I have it here on the right side of my screen, so let's read through the scenario. Craig has left you several receipts to record. So you're going to need to click on the button under the animated video in this section to download the receipts as you'll need it for this exercise. So I'm going to scroll back to the top here of the gym, and here is that animated video. And then below that is this button that says receipts. Go ahead and click on it to download those receipts. Once you do and you open it up, this is what it will look like. It looks like there are 4 different receipts that we are going to be processing here. Now you will need to be in the same session of the sample company that you did the previous exercises in. If you have not completed those yet, go ahead and click on the link on the top right corner of your screen. That'll take you to the first exercise and then complete that one and all the ones after until you get back to this one. They all build on each other, and so it's really important to start with that first one. And as a note here, there are a total of 8 of these exercises that need to be completed in that same session. So just keep that in mind as you're going through. I have the sample company here on the left side of my screen, and this is the last page that I left off of from the previous exercise. But let's go ahead and get started. Craig went to Diego's Road Warrior body shop to purchase a new truck bed liner. While he was there, Diego told him that he had an unpaid bill from an earlier vehicle repair. Craig took care of both the purchase and the unpaid repair bill with one check. So here's how to record this transaction. From the left navigation bar, we're going to hover over expenses and then select vendors. So here is that left navigation bar. We're going to hover over expenses and then select vendors. Once it comes up, we're going to scroll down to Diego's Road Warrior body shop. And then next to, here it is right here, next to schedule payments, we're going to click the down arrow and select create bill. So I need to scroll over right here. Here's Diego's right there. I'm going to click on this down arrow and then select create bill. Now you may be wondering why you can't just create an expense for this. In QBO, if you create an expense, you will be able to add the existing repair bill to the expense form, but then it won't let you add a new line item for the purchase of the truck bed liner. So to pay the existing bill, the one that he had to pay that was unpaid when he went there, to pay that existing bill and the new purchase at the same time, you need to create a second bill for the purchase. Remember, he took care of all of those things with one check. So we need to make sure that it is reflected accurately here in QBO. The bill may appear with a line item already completed for $755. You can simply edit that line item following the steps below, or you can just delete the line item by clicking on the trash can icon. So that is right here. It is just showing up here. It's a setting in the accountant settings where sometimes it'll just have the what happened in the previous transaction related to Diego. So we don't need it here, so we can always just just copy over it, or we can just do this, which I'm going to do is just clicking on this little trash can to get rid of that line item. That way it's all fresh and we can start from this very first one. So in this category field, we need to select purchases. So click the down arrow. You can scroll until you get to it, or you can type it in. Either way is perfectly fine. Once you find it, go ahead and click on it. Now we need to add a description here so we know what this is for. So in that description field, we're going to type truck bed liner. Click into it and go ahead and type that. Type our truck bed liner. In the amount field, we're going to type 500. If we go back here, we can see in this one right here, it says that it was for $500. So let's make sure that we go ahead and click into that amount there and type that. And now we're going to just simply click on Save and Close. So go ahead and click on that. And now that bill has been saved. Now we're going to scroll back down once again to Diego's Road Warrior Body Shop. And next to the Create Bill, we're going to click that down arrow and click on Create Expense. So let's scroll back down to his name. Here it is right here. I'm going to scroll over. Once again, clicking on that down arrow, and this time selecting Create Expense. Now, both bills, both for the truck bed liner that we just created and then the vehicle repair for $755, can now be paid with one check on this expense transaction. So let's add these by clicking on Add All. And then in the reference number field, we're going to type 1203 to indicate that that is what he paid with. So this reference number 1203. We're going to leave the payment date as is. It will default to today, but of course in real life you want this date to match whatever day the payment was actually, that Craig actually made that payment. So this is all good. It has selected both of those bills, reflecting that we have now processed both of these payments under one transaction. So let's go ahead and click on the green Save and Close button. And now that one has been processed. We've added that expense. Let's move on. So Craig spent $150 at Laura's Lamination to laminate some posters he's going to hang up hang up in the library and coffee shop bulletin boards. He paid with his MasterCard. If we look here, we can see that it was for $150, and there is that MasterCard. So that'll be important information when we create this next expense. So go ahead and click on the plus new button and then click on expense. The plus new button on the top left corner of the screen, click on that, and then under vendors, go ahead and select expense. Now, Laura is not actually here in the QBO system here for Craig, so we're going to need to add her. In the payee field, let's click on the plus add new. So click the down arrow, plus add new. You'll see this vendor card pull out or pop out here for you. So in this vendor display name field, let's go ahead and type Laura's Lamination so that we can have this created. So Laura's Lamination. Now, in a real life scenario, you would want to include as much information as you know about this vendor. It'll help you in the future if you ever need to email something or call. Any kind of information that you can add about a vendor is super helpful. But for the purposes of this exercise, we're just going to go ahead and click on the green Save button. And now she has been added as a vendor here in QBO. So in the payment account field, we need to select MasterCard since that is how Craig paid for this. So click the down arrow, select MasterCard. We're going to leave the payment date as is. Of course, in real life, make sure that this date is matching the date of the actual expense so that it is matching properly what happened in real life with what is here in QBO. In the category field, we're going to select advertising. So click the down arrow and it is the first expense account that is showing here on the list. Let's add a description by clicking into that field and typing poster lamination. So click into that description field and go ahead and type that. Poster Elimination. The amount, as we saw here, was for $150. So let's go ahead and put that in the amount field. This advertising expense is not directly related to a job, so it's not billable, and therefore the billable and customer fields should indeed remain blank. So this is all good. We have added this expense properly. So now we're going to process one more and click on the Save and New to do that. So click the down arrow, select Save and New, and that expense for Lara's lamination has been saved. And now we have one more expense to process. It is a blank one, so let's move on to that one. Craig has a big patio installation for Kate Whalen. He goes to Norton Lumber and Building Materials and spends $2,300 on the Visa card to buy the pavers for the job, which he will invoice to Kate when the job is completed. So we're working on this one right here. It looks like 12 pavers for $2,300. So in the payee field, we're going to select Norton Lumber. So go ahead and click in that down arrow. You can either scroll or you can start typing in their name. Once you find it, go ahead and click on it. Now you may notice that as soon as you do that, this pop-out drawer appears on the right side when you selected their name. This is a previously recorded bill that we are not going to be using for this exercise, so you can just go ahead and ignore it. You can click on this arrow to collapse it so it is no longer showing here on your screen. Now, if you remember from this expense, he paid with a Visa, so we need to update this payment account field to reflect that. So click on Visa once you find it. We're going to leave that payment date as is for the purposes of this exercise in real life. Make sure that it matches the expense. So in the category field, we're going to select decks and patios. So click into it. You can start scrolling until you find it. It is a sub-account of job materials. So go ahead and click on it once you find it. Let's add a description about what this is for. So click into that description field and type pavers. The amount that he spent was $2,300. So click in that amount box and type 2,300. Now this time, because he is going to be billing this to Kate, we need to click on the checkbox under billable, and then in the customer field, select Kate's name. So click the down arrow and scroll down until you find it. Go ahead and select it once you do. And now this expense has been added properly. So all we need to do now is just click on Save and Close. Click the down arrow, select Save and Close. And now that expense has been saved. And that is it. That is how you would record expenses. Now, if you like this exercise and you'd like to do more like it, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. We're going to continue on, and if you want to join, be sure to leave this session of the sample company open, as you will need it for the next exercise in the warm-up section, where we practice processing the bank fee transactions. And I will see you in the next video.